the heck with waiting, and we just get right into it.
I'm Batman.
You're Batman?
Yeah.
You sound just like him.
I just sound like a pubescent, like Batman. Like if Damian Wayne was still like 12 years old and he's saying, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. He's like, or, I'm Batman. That would be it. That would be like puberty-ridden Batman. I'm Batman.
Exactly. But speaking about Batman, what's going on?
Okay, so basically, the Batman comes out March 4th. So the production and like all of the news regarding it and all the promotional material starting to ramp up. This is where whenever we do like box office breakdowns and we talk about budget for these movies, you always do your budget of the movie times 1.5, and that's how you figure out how much the marketing cost. Well, right now we're in the throes of just how that huge budget, all that marketing money, we're in the midst of seeing that right now. I see the ads everywhere. Whenever I'm on IMDb or any of these sites, I'm seeing promotional material for the movie. So this article is from Cosmic Book News, and it says the Batman box office opening expected to be well over 100 million. The Batman opens next month. Early estimates offering the box office will open to well over $100 million, which isn't too surprising. Box Office Pro offers the Batman could open anywhere between 135 million and 185 million, which is a wide range. That's actually pretty common for these movies, is to give it a pretty wide, like a lot of times what I'll see is like between 100 million and 150 million. I'm like, well, that's a large. I remember Eternals got like these astronomical numbers, and then as the movie got closer, they just started making it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So it says factors will come into play regarding the box office, including ticket sales, which go on sale Thursday, reviews to an extent, but probably the most important factor is word of mouth. I think if fans really love the movie, they will take to social media, and that's similar to what happened with flicks such as The Joker and Spider-Man No Way Home. Word of mouth will be the major factor, and things could explode. That seems to be more and more common. Like they get a lot of Marvel movies get that big opening box office push, right? But the movies that seem to do the best these days have longevity to them. I remember Joker, it inched its way towards $1 billion. If somebody would have to fact check me on this, but because I didn't pull it up, but I'm thinking off the cuff. I believe Joker opened to 90 million. Which was way outside of what they expected because it had like a $55 million budget, right? So, but then it just grew and grew and grew. Yeah, it was really fun. Even my dad went and saw it. That blew my mind.
I haven't seen it yet.
But it's just so funny. My dad's like in his 70s. He's like, we went to see the Joker. I'm like, oh man, what is this world coming to? Can you look up and see what the box office opening was for Joker? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was about to, but then I forgot what
Yep. So it says, so I really do think word of mouth is extremely important when it comes to stuff like this. It says, I think if fans really love the movies, they will take to social media. Yeah, it says, BOP says, Box Office Pro says, advanced tracking for the Batman includes social activity and trailer views are the strongest of any release excluding Spider-Man No Way Home before the pandemic began. And the tracking is more in line with the opening of Captain Marvel's 153 million and even the 177 million of Disney's Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Zack Snyder's 166 million Batman vs Superman, 166 million. Like, what's funny is like, I don't know if it's maybe like the bubble I've been in, but like Spider-Man movies haven't been, like, Batman has been far more profitable than Spider-Man up until Tom Holland took over. And even then, like, none of those, neither Far From Home nor Homecoming made $1 billion. I think those were both. I think they both ended up in like the $700 to $800 million range.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So, but for this movie, I remember when not No Way. What was the first one? Homecoming came out. They still cared. Like, it was like right when they were starting to put like certified fresh on as if that matters to anyone. So I thought that was funny. So, and some of the other movies that are coming out, like they listed like Rise of Skywalker. I don't really see that as a good one-to-one comparison. Down here it says, while Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins only opened to $48.7 million, the two follow-up movies went through the roof as The Dark Knight opened to $158 million and The Dark Knight Rises to over $160 million. And then the other ones that I had written down is Eternals, which is more recent, right? So you can look at that as kind of a more even comparison. Opened to $164 million, and Black Widow opened to $183 million. Those are the only reason I'm mentioning them is they're pandemic era films, whereas the other ones that we were talking about weren't.
Yeah.
And then No Way Home, $260 million. There's no way it's going to open to $260 million. But like I said, what it needs to do is it needs to find the legs that No Way Home has had. Like I said, No Way Home only lost to what was... to Moonfall by a couple of $1 million last weekend, even though it was in its 8th week of release. So the movie really needs to find its if it gets good reviews, that's fine. But if the audience likes it and it gets good social media traction, once those reviews, not critic reviews, but audience reviews start coming out, that will do the film much more good in the long run.
Well, to circle back on your question about Joker's opening weekend for the box office, it was 93.5 mil.
Wow. Okay, and that's on a budget of $50 million. So it made its profit money. It was in profitability already in the first weekend. It's also worth it to note that Joker never came out in China.
Yeah.
So that's impressive that it made $1 billion without Chinese money. And then I wanted to go to this other article. It says the Batman predicted to gross more than the Eternals' entire domestic run in its opening weekend.
Ooh.
Box office tracking website Box Office Pro released a long-range box office forecast for the upcoming The Batman film. That's so hard to say that. Every time you have to say upcoming The Batman. From director Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Did you know that apparently he wrote this Batman movie with Robert Pattinson in mind?
Really?
Yeah, so there was nobody else.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he wrote that with him in mind.
Well, my question is, how long was the rumor that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman for?
I
felt like it was years, the rumors that started.
I mean, I don't remember but you could be right. I mean, I guess I always thought they were talking about. You think towards the end of Affleck's run, they started talking about it.
They started talking about new Batmans
after the movie The Lighthouse came out. I feel like they started talking about it because he started doing darker, independent movies. And he kind of fit more in tune with that. So it says Box Office Pro claims that the Batman is poised to join the club and rejuvenate the theatrical marketplace when it debuts just 4 weeks from now. That's close. It's already coming up. So it says, they support their claim by noting Batman is arguably one of the most valuable and reliable pop culture icons when it comes to the box office, evidenced by the numerous blockbuster performances from multiple generations of moviegoers, from Tim Burton's 1989 film to Christopher Nolan's early 2000s trilogy and Zack Snyder's Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice in 2016. Yeah, when Superman when Zack Snyder's Superman movie came out, nobody really, Man of Steel came out. Nobody, it did well, but for the most part, they're this isn't Superman. Superman does not snap people's necks, even if it is Zod. But when Batman vs. Superman was announced, nobody really cared about Superman. They really cared about Batman.
Because Batman is the emo kind of kid that everybody emo/gothic.
It's a lot more interesting. I get it's
and
harder
he's
to
always
make.
Brooding.
Yes, it's harder to make Boy Scout Superman interesting, even if you do have him snap Zod's neck. So it says advanced tracking, social activity, and trailer imprints for the Batman are the strongest of any release, excluding Spider-Man: No Way Home, since before the pandemic began. Okay, they're recording. Look at that! I love all the posters for this movie. Have been amazing.
I like the Zoe
Kravitz one right there is really good.
That one is really good.
Making
I like that.
Short hair look good. Didn't even know that was possible. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It was a joke.
Run, women.
It was
towards Brett with your short hair.
It was a joke.
So you can tell him that short hair actually looks cute.
It does. It especially on her.
Do you think it's going
look at that poster? Look at that one right there.
That one is really good.
All of them, man.
But you know how the previous article it says with promotions of word of mouth, how do you think it's going to be spread? Is it going to be spread through TikTok, how Spider-Man No Way Home was? Where
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I haven't seen any TikTok promotion.
Spider-Man's more memeable than Batman.
Yeah.
The TikToks where it's Spider-Man's swinging someone and he's it's a guy that he's carrying. Did you see those?
I saw that one, and then there's the cosplayer where he jumps down and he is Spider-Man, which is really cool. And then people who do the lip sync
Yeah.
I haven't seen any for the Batman.
It's a lot harder to do because it's more serious, right? So Spider-Man is much more in line with like modern Generation Z culture, whereas Batman's kind of like, is it really all that laughable to talk about a guy whose dad was, his parents were murdered, and
this one is like basically the Riddler is going to be a mass murderer.
Yes,
right?
she's a serial killer. And Paul Dano is a fantastic actor. I'm so excited for that.
So my question is, because like Joker like had memes like made out of it.
Well, also the Joker got all its promotion from the media telling everyone that it was going to cause violence, and all the there was like all that mass hysteria that the media, they literally wanted somebody to do something violent. Like you could tell that the media wanted something bad to happen.
They're like, it's really slow in the news week. We need somebody to like maybe shoot up a movie theater.
Yeah, dude, the media is evil. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Like the media as an institution, in my opinion, like there's no way that they did that and raised that type of insane hubbub without actually like secretly hoping that something bad would happen.
Well, also like there's a lot of behind the scenes and like comedies who do like satire behind the scenes of like the news, and it's kind of accurate if you think about it, because they're there to get your money. They need views to stay afloat. And my friend Zay was like, yeah, basically like they're pretty much not that friendly.
No, they're not.
They're not that friendly, because he works behind the scenes as the button pusher, so he's the person who helps you. I think he's back in Texas to see your Texas news.
Oh man.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm just waiting for the Disney overlords to take over so I can just stay in one place.
Yeah, right. Well, Disney's not any better. Disney owns most of those, like all those companies are all owned by the same few small conglomerates, right? So it says if the Batman is anywhere near the upper end of this prediction, it will gross more than Marvel's Eternals did in its entire domestic run. The numbers report Eternals only earned 164 million at the box office. I wrote 164 million as their opening weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
What?
That's weird. Maybe different articles get different sources, so the numbers are a little bit.
Yeah, like I'm like now I'm like double checking. Like
Brett is checking live, people.
Well, yeah, it's
I don't know. That's weird.
Because I thought that number seemed high to me, given that. No, that makes more sense. Okay, so Eternals grossed in the opening weekend 71 million on its opening weekend. Okay, and $164 million total. Whereas what I wrote down for Black Widow was so Black Widow earned 183 million in its entire run, but 90 million in its opening weekend.
I just want to point out your notes remind me a lot of high school homework.
Thank you.
How it's formatted. It reminds me a lot of like high school days, and I'm like,
well, it's
no.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I'm like, no.
I do my best to stay organized because like when we were doing early days in here, I would fill it out more completely.
Yeah.
So then I'd be like looking and stumbling. So now what I do is I try to reference stuff and try to keep it in mind, because otherwise if it's too cluttered, then I can't focus as I'm writing.
Do you know a Cornell note style? Oh my God. So,
I mean, I know that term.
Yeah. So basically, this is what they taught us in high school. So basically, how you organize your notes, you have a key term, and then you write a definition or something to remind you to memorize it. And then this is like, I organize it on the left side. So in the margin, I'll have like a key term or like just like a question that I need to remember.
Okay.
And it just helps me with that. So maybe you can try it out. It's really easy.
Forcing myself to use good handwriting has also helped. Like when I was doing notes for like the things that we review, I would scrawl it really fast and not pay attention. And now I try to write it more clearly, and it makes it easier to notice.
Nice.
So it says the YouTuber explains they're talking about
hoodlum.
Or I am not a hoodlum. Look at this poster. This one
that one is super cool. I like that.
They're all really good. So it says the YouTuber. They're talking about OMB reviews.
Yeah.
That's Odin's movie blog. The YouTuber explains, if this film is able to reach up in numbers and is able to really build up even more hype, I think a lot of people are very hyped about this film. I know I see a lot of people in the comment section of the videos talk about how excited they are for it. I was even asked on a recent live show, what do you think the next billion-dollar film film will be? And I looked at this film and I looked at what knowledge we had at the time, and I said, hey, I don't know necessarily if this is going to be that film. I think it could get to the $700 to $800 million range, but I don't know necessarily if it'll reach $1 billion. But this kind of changes things just a bit. Again, these are long range projections, so a lot could change. What I've noticed for the last couple of years, because I used to love this, like even before we were doing this like long before we were doing this podcast, I loved listening to people talk about the numbers. I have no idea why. I'm horrible at math, but I love hearing it explained, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll get these wild projections for these movies, which I think a lot of times end up being like promotional. Like they're like, it's gonna make this much money, and that makes you, it kind of clicks in that fear of missing out that people have. They're like, it's gonna make that much money, and I'm gonna miss out. I'm not gonna be able to talk to anybody about it on Monday, and all my coworkers are gonna see it. So they drop these huge expectations for people to try to get them to go and see it early, I think. But we are definitely going to see this opening weekend. That goes without saying.
Yeah. Speaking about opening weekends, we are also going to watch a movie tomorrow.
Yes. We're going to see Death on the Nile.
Yep.
The new Kenneth Branagh. Hercule Poirot. I have no idea how to say Hercule Poirot in not Minnesotan.
Minnesotan.
Look at that poster.
It's super cool. I love
the colors are so good.
Whoever's the graphic designer for this movie, well done. I love it.
She looks totally different there. She looks like a child there almost.
No, not really.
She looks very young.
I feel like she's more Vogue-esque.
You could be right, yeah.
It's very Vogue-esque. Like, if you get rid of, like, the Riddler's, like, bloody splatter clue, and then just put Vogue under instead of, like, the Batman, it looks like a Vogue magazine. And you wouldn't know she's playing as Catwoman.
Very cool. Miracle knows her stuff. I imagine a room full of Vogue magazines for somebody who wears hooded sweatshirts to work every day, and maybe at home secretly it's like a Vogue magazine. It's like all high end and artsy, and none of us know about it.
Fun fact: I wanted to be a graphic designer as a little kid.
That's such a 2020. That feels like more my generation to like grow up. I want to be a graphic designer.
Well, it's because like I was really into advertising. Like I wanted people to see.
You and Nick should spend more time talking. He loves talking marketing and advertising.
Yeah, because like the whole idea, I love watching behind the scenes how they do it and like how they get the idea. So like on TikTok, they show you like secrets of commercials, how they make it look more appetizing for food.
Yeah.
So I love
like how they used to use something that wasn't milk to do cereal ads, and then they found out that they couldn't do that anymore. They have to use real milk to advertise cereal. Yeah,
well, before it used to be like shaving cream.
Yes. Okay.
It used to be shaving cream.
See, you know your stuff.
Yeah. Like legit.
That's like a fact from my generation. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
and another fun fact, did you know that the movie Singing in the Rain, they had to use milk for the rain part?
So that you could see it, so it would show up on camera better. I know for a fact that like when they do snow, they even if they're shooting in a place with real snow, they prefer to bring in the fake stuff because it looks better on camera.
It does. Like it does. It's not that great to clean up because it's a pain in the butt, and but it's okay.
It's probably unhealthy too. It's like got a funny smell to it and everything.
Isn't it made out of styrofoam?
Could be. You don't want to inhale that. Styrofoam's probably horrible for you.
Yeah, kind of. Well, a lot of our diet has like plastic in it. Just saying.
Thank you for that.
Just saying, a morbid fact. I started watching like film theory talking about like his new theory about milk, and milk is not that healthy for you. You can like eat other things.
It's part of the milk industrial complex is out to get us.
Yeah, because like he's doing like this weird trilogy. He said this is the last one, but I don't think it's going to be the last one, where he's talking about like how the supermarket and like food industries are lying to you to buy what. Yep. So like he talked about McNuggets from McDonald's and how it was like the start of promoting like eating chicken, and like they didn't advertise their burgers that much because of the beef shortages. And
then it's also like there's like the sugar industry and then the fat industry. Somehow fat got the bad rap and sugar's the one that's really really bad for you.
Well, it's very addictive. Yes. It's like it's similar to a drug because it helps, like it doesn't help, it kind of activates like the
I get headaches when I don't have it.
Yeah, like it activates a certain chemical in your brain that makes you want it more because it makes you more happy. It's not the dopamine one, it's a different chemical in your brain. I don't know. Food facts over.
Okay. So it says Batman opens up on March 4th, Starring Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, John Turturro. Also starring. I was like, they don't list Robert Pattinson first? What the hell?
He's the main actor, bro.
Well, there was a weird thing. This is a tinfoil hat.
Yes.
Okay, right after Me Too happened and everything in Hollywood, I kid you not, every IMDb page listed the first female star first, even if she wasn't the star of the movie or the show.
She was just a side character.
They would put, well, maybe she's like the second, the first time I was looking up an actor on the show, Burn Notice, which is a show from like the early 2000s, and they put Gabrielle Anwar first and Jeffrey Donovan second, even though he was the star. The show's literally about him. It was really fun. Like, and I was like, it could have been a total conspiracy theory, but I felt like for a while I was seeing only women were listed first. Maybe that's what they're like. Where's Zoe Kravitz? I'm sure that's not it, but yes.
They just wrote it because that's the first name they thought of. Because usually how they write things.
Well, no, because it's like they changed the order. Like the picture, hers got moved above his in the list. So.
Oh, okay.
Who knows?
Never mind. Never mind. Well, also you have to look at who wrote the article. Is it? Oh, it's a man. Never mind.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.